Swayambhunath. Swayambhu, Swayambhu, the self-existent, one absolute. Thus spoke Monkey King, Hanuman Guru, way up there in Kathmandu. To reach the top of Swayambhunath, so many questions I thought to ask. For ancient wisdom I sought to grasp, so I went wending my way up the winding path. 'Twas said long ago upon this earthly sod, seek ye first the kingdom of God. So step by step by step, onward I did trod, a winkin' and a blinkin' and a solitary nod. There was a sacred place from times of old, a stairway to heaven away up the road, where Swayambhu, I had been told, had been born and now had an abode. Yet my search was over before it had begun, for all the signs said, walk, don't run. Listening to all, but heeding none, blindly I did seek the self-existent one. Yet my blindness was sight, for I could see, with the eyes of Swayambhu drawing me, sought I to solve the riddle of life's mystery, picking the lock while seeking the key. Still on I clambered up the hill intrepidly, and from every branch of every tree it seemed a tiny baboon was swinging free, and as I looked on, they peeked back at me. Having traversed both rock and rill, at last I reached the top of the hill, when I spied a temple further on still. Magic monkey music beckoned with its trill. Through an ape-adorned door I entered in, and perused the premises there within. Now espied I soon a statue-like simian, far in the dark amidst shadows deep and dim. Incense rising from the alabaster altar, upon which the monkey Buddha sat, all a jolter. So thick the clouds round him, I began to falter, though silent he sat as the rock of Gibraltar. To get a better look, cautiously I moved closer, though he appeared to me like a certain hookah smoker, a caterpillar primeval, jester and joker, with a grin upon his face like an all-night toker. Eyes closed deep in meditation, he floated in the smoke, which covered him round in a thickly cloak. My nostrils so full of fumes, I nearly choked, and was about to sneeze just before he spoke. As the air reverberated with a loud "Hachoo!" he opened his eyes, looked at me and said, "Who are you? And what brings you up here to Kathmandu, high up by the eyes of old Swayambhu? By your hat and gear and climbing boots, did you not come here by a long and circuitous route, searching for God, or what is known as truth, which some call nothing, while others say it is the absolute? And might you be the Monkey King, Hanuman, hero of old and disciple of Ram?" I asked him, remembering my time at the ashram, picking tea on the hills of ancient Assam. "And you might be a young Rudyard Kipling. By your looks you seem a mere stripling." As the clouds about him in waves went a-rippling, I felt like I'd been Bombay gin a-tippling. Then he fixed me with a look rather odd. Searching for the absolute, that would be God, is like looking for a fish in a sea full of cod, he said with a smile, a wink and a nod. For you see, Swayambhu is all, Swayambhu is none. Swayambhu is many. Swayambhu is one. Swayambhu is like poetry or a rhyming pun. All solemnity is Swayambhu. Swayambhu is just for fun. Swayambhu is a monkey, Swayambhu is a man, so seek ye no more the mighty I Am. All the days of thy earthly span. So continued on this kooky Hanukkah. Swayambhu is a woman, what thinks ye of that? And every place and no place at all are Swayambhunath. So said the monkey man as his head he did scratch. He looked at me with a mischievous grin and laughed. Swayambhunath is a place with a sense of humor. Whatever else you've heard is just a rumor. At Swayambhunath no more will your brain grow a tumor, so just don't sit there in an unconscious stupor. Go seek Swayambhunath elsewhere, and you shall find. I sat and listened in the sun of his monkey shines. What he said was beyond reason, but not beyond rhyme. Yet what did he mean, such a one of his kith and kind? And still he continued on with his Swayambhunath riddles. I felt like I was stuck pleasantly somewhere in the middle, between the cow and the moon, and the cat and the fiddle, and the dish and the spoon, and hey diddle diddle. Now he began making all sorts of simian sounds, and cavorting about he put on his chimpanzee crown. As he jumped from his chair, away he did bound. So how now to calm this monkey mind down? Then he grabbed hold of a rope, like a hairy swashbuckler, floated up into the air like a baseball knuckleball knuckler, swinging back and forth and back, lips all a pucker, dancing and singing was this happy chimp chuckler. Beyond the beyond is Swayambhunath, laughed the Hanu-cackler. Swayambhu speaks in silence, proclaimed the Hanu-baffler. 'Twas then that the air round him popped like firecrackers. I stood amazed and amused, an awestruck backpacker. Then he floated ever up higher upon his Hanumat, having finished, it seemed, with his cosmic monkey chat. Then round and round and round he flew like a Hanubat, upon his head holding on to his crowned Hanu cap. Then his skin grew bright as the sun, shining like gold. Brighter than the brightest ruby, red ruby, his face glowed. Then vast and tall as a mountain he did grow. Then he leapt up above the clouds, and the moon he did swallow. Then he jumped all the way from India to Ceylon and returned. On the way with his mighty tail, Lanka he did burn. He flew above the Himalayas, brought me medicaments and herbs. Standing on a mountaintop, roaring like thunder, his voice could be heard. To the very spot where I stood, then he did come back. The son of the wind and master of yoga, his hands he did clap. Swayambhu is the lotus which was born at Swayambhunath. There is a transcendental unity in all things. That's a fact. His tail then grew 10 feet long, and he turned into a cat. And as he opened his mouth again, into a monkey he turned back. The self-existent one means, oh, this is that. So the Vedas say, and that is the secret of Swayambhunath. Now, when he'd finished with his acrobatic Zen jokes, He curled up in a ball at the end of a disappearing rope, put his finger to his nose, and up he went in a puff of smoke. So ended my dream, for it was then that I awoke. There on my dresser was an old medallion of Hanuman. I'd gotten on a hill long ago, a mystic talisman. Just the night before, I'd held it once again in my hand. On the back was an impression of those eyes which the world do scan. As I gazed upon them again, they took me so many years back to that day when I climbed the hill with so many questions I thought to ask. For ancient wisdom I sought to grasp and to reach the top of Swayambhunath. Swayambhu, Swayambhu, the self-existent, one absolute. Thus spoke Hanuman, Monkey King Guru, way up there in Cat